wants Australians to sit down, shut up and take what the employers offer, like unfair dismissal. You can be sacked without rhyme or reason. Your boss doesn't even have to speak to you in person and you have no right to defend yourself. The AWAs, individual contracts. We are now a nation where employers can say, take it or leave it. It is a fact that every AWA made under these laws has removed award conditions. Overtime, penalty rates, public holidays, all systematically stripped away. If you start a new job or get a promotion, you can be asked to sign an individual contract, an AWA. If you don't sign, you don't get the job. We remember when Australia was a place where we valued democratic rights, but now every single worker can be fined $6,000 for just asking for protection against unfair dismissal. Unions can be fined $33,000 for asking for occupational health and safety training. Disgraceful. These are disgraceful laws. They have no place in a democratic society. They are unbalanced, extreme, and a threat to Australian values.
Well, this new company came in. They offered us Australian workplace agreements. We'd be losing paid meal breaks, paid public holidays, and the guarantee of a 38-hour week. They basically came in and said, if you sign up, great, you'll have a job. If you don't sign on, then you won't have a job to come to.
According to the federal government's own survey, every AWA under the new IR laws has cut award conditions.
In the AWA, there's 17.5% loading we lose. We lose 3 annual public holidays a year. We don't get time and a quarter on a Thursday night, on a Saturday, time and a half Sundays gone, and public holidays. So they were offering me $14.30 an hour, and my rate of pay now is $14.28. So for 2 cents an hour, I lost all those conditions.
63% of AWAs have cut penalty rates.
The government started off the enforcement of AWAs by insisting that universities, to get their funding, would have to be seen to offer AWAs to all staff.
They've taken away a lot of the conditions of employment. Things like redundancy payments is very unfair. It's vicious, unnecessary and totally callous. I'm near the end of my working life, but I'm worried about my children and the way they're going to live.
I was a coal miner. I got handed an AWA and did not like the clauses that I seen in it. The clauses in the AWA was that I had to give the company 12 hours notice if I couldn't attend work sick, and if I didn't, I would be fined $200. When I read these such clauses, it made me very furious that these sort of things can go on and can be legal. When I said that I was not going to sign the individual contract, they sacked me.
51% of AWAs have cut overtime pay.
It was my first job out of school. I wanted to make a good impression. The contract stated that I would be paid a rate of $10.20 an hour with no extra money for any overtime worked. I'd work 45 hours a week, Monday through to Friday. I'd be forced to provide my own superannuation, pay my own taxes. I wasn't entitled to any annual leave, sick days. I didn't have an opportunity to pass up the job. I needed the job and I just signed the contract.
36% of AWAs have cut public holidays.
Because I used to be a soldier, I figured that I could handle anything. So I went and organised my AWA, the individual contract, whatever they call them now, and decided that I can handle myself. And everything was going fine until I hurt myself at work, in which case they decided that they're going to penalise me for being injured. I said, no way anymore. I want to go with the union because at least we've got protection.
I have 23 years' experience working at a senior management level, and that didn't protect me. I lost my job. Under the industrial relations laws, that's what they're allowed to do. 2 members of the committee came into my office with another person and sat me down and essentially gave me a choice. They said I could resign now and say it was for personal reasons, and then I'd be allowed to say goodbye to everyone, or if I refused to do that, then they would sack me on the spot and I'd be escorted from the building. I chose not to resign, so I was terminated, and when I asked them why and how could you do that, they said that we don't have to give you a reason, we can dismiss you under the work choices legislation, and this is why we have our lawyer here to make sure that we adhere to the letter of the new laws.
Millions of Australians have lost protection from unfair dismissal.
And it makes me so mad, you know, to think that they can get away with what they're doing. And it's about Australia got off its backside and stood up for what they believe in and tell them, no, it's not going to happen.
Every day these IR laws remain, workers need to speak out, and speak out they have. With me on this stage are courageous workers who've been personally affected by these laws. When John Howard took away their voice at work, they stood up. They told all Australians what happened to them. The government rubbished these workers, lied about them, attacked them in the national press. But we stand by them and we will keep telling their stories, your stories. We will not be silenced by a government that cares so little for its people. This government has turned its back on working Australians and on their families, and we owe them no loyalty.